are live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special episode of One Hit Wonderful with myself and Renee Yaworski and the Honorable Judge Hiram Stern. For those of you uninitiated, this show is about me and Renee sitting down with a favored musician or poet of ours, and what we will do.
And you came up with me?
Yeah, I'm getting there, Jake. I'm getting there. So what this will be is me and Renee sitting down, and the judge sitting down with a favored musician or poet of ours, and we will have that person recite a piece of theirs or play a song of theirs. We will talk about the song. We will talk about the song or the poem, go in depth on it, and then we will go into that person's background. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we somehow convinced him to be here straight from, he's like halfway between Cartersville and somewhere else in Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Papa SDF himself, Jake Allen. Yes, sir.
I didn't need like a good arm twisting to get on here.
I know. I just
Nothing like a good arm twisting, though.
I was just horsing around with you. So
I can't believe you remembered halfway between Cartersville and somewhere.
I was, because here's the thing, Canton. That's the word it was. It was halfway between Cartersville and Canton.
Or, smack dab in the middle of hell, depending on your perspective,
I'm in the same locale, middle of scenic fucking nowhere. So, Jake, without further ado, if you have a song on your heart, share it with us, my friend.
I'm meant to play the song right now? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, or we can banter a little bit till you get ready if you want to.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay.
Let me get a sup of my water.
We'll wait.
Wet my whistle. I apologize. All right. Well, okay. Without further ado.
All right, Jake, hammer away.
The song is called Limbo. It's the only song of mine that I ever play, really. There's one other that I rarely play. I don't consider myself much of a songwriter, but I am very proud of this song. I love this song. Wrote it a long time ago.
All right.
And of course, I'm going to start with the plug, man. Woo-saw.
You got this.
After a year and a half of doing this live, I would not. Doubly so when it's my song. All right. We can't find our way to heaven. We don't know the road to hell. So we'll sit right here in limbo, and it's probably just as well. One is paved with good intentions, now we know that rings a bell. And the other lies within us, so it's sometimes hard to tell. We can try and do our best while we are here upon this earth, but in death and death alone will we know what life was worth.
All right. So that was Limbo by our beloved Jake Allen. Jake, after you get through sipping on your water there, how did that song come about, and just what is it about?
How did it come about? I mean, like, I guess how songs come about, it just kind of popped into my head one day. I was sitting and holding the banjo and heard that melody and started just fingering that out. And it's weird because I'm not, like I said, I don't write a lot of songs. Literally, like, you can't get more one-hit wonderful than that's all you get. Is that. So I don't know, man. I've been trying to find where that comes from ever since then. You know, it just was like, oh, here you go. It was a little gift. And I've been chasing that high ever since.
Aha. In the lyrics of the song, did you write it about anyone or anything in particular? Any particular happening at all?
Well, I was once married before Bethy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for less than a year. It was not a good relationship. It ended, very poorly. Thankfully, I'm grateful for it. But it was right then when that was all crumbling. You kind of find yourself in that a limbo, a relationship limbo.
Aha. So Jake,
it wasn't so much about the girl,
yeah,
more just the overall feeling, I think, of that time, of watching something you've been trying to build crumble.
So Jake, where in this wide world of ours were you born?
I was born in Macon, Georgia.
Macon, Georgia. Yeah. Good on you. So, how long did you spend in Macon?
Approximately 2.5 months.
Oh wow! So, were you like a military brat? Were your parents always going around the country and all?
Nope. They were not. My parents moved out to. I say my parents. My mom and my dad moved out to Abilene, Texas, right after I was born. I'm not sure under the circumstances. I think he may have been working for the sheriff's department and had gotten into the lockup and stole some evidence.
Oh,
like a bunch of evidence, and so maybe they were running from the law. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know my biological father at all. So I have no idea. And my mom doesn't really talk about him. And
well, Jake can talk about it now. The statutes run out.
No.
So you moved to Abilene, Texas at 2.5 months old. How long then did you stay in Abilene?
I was there until we moved away for 1 year when I was in the first grade. And then we went. But from like 2.5 months till about 2 years. And then I was kidnapped.
Are you putting us on, or are you telling the truth?
No, I'm telling the truth. I'm being dead serious. So,
holy fuck.
Well, it's not as dramatic. It is. Okay.
It sounds like an interesting story that needs to be told.
Yes.
Okay. So, how old was I? My sister is a year and a half younger than me. So at 3 years old, my dad gave up full custody of my sister and I, just like completely. And he had a new wife and a new family, that situation. And so he gave up complete custody of us. And then one day he called my mom up and was like, "Hey, I'd like to see Jake for a little while." So she took me to him, and I was spending time with him, and him and his new wife snatched me and took me off to live with their family.
Oh my God. And where was this?
That was in Texas. I think they were somewhere around Houston.
Oh.
Yeah. If memory serves me.
Oh my God. So how much time did you spend with them then in this situation?
It was about 6 months, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't, I was young. I don't remember a whole lot of it. I remember Christmas. I was there for Christmas.
Wow.
I remember somebody got one of those little monkeys with the fucking symbols. And still
evil.
Still creep me out to this day.
They're evil.
The main memory I have of that time is the thing that got me sent home back to live with my mom. I was Are you ready? Are you ready?
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
Statutes have run out.
You're not ready for this. At 3 years old, I remember vividly grabbing a box of matches.
Oh no!
And I crawled up underneath one of the beds, and I was, that shit that hangs off from the bed.
Oh no!
I caught it on fire, and I remember backing out from underneath the bed, and the bed catches on fire. The room catches on fire.
Oh.
The house caught on fire. I remember they lived near a body of water, and I remember them going down to this body of water with buckets. Like his new wife had like four kids already, that were raised from like my age to like teenagers, and they're all like going down there with buckets trying to put this thing out. And
oh my God!
And the next day, he called my mom and said, "I'm bringing your fucking son back."
Jake,
I saw him.
Jake, we are at the age of 3. 3! And the people, everybody in the comments is like, oh my God, the life he's lived at 3. So, let's then move away from your early juvenile delinquency. And so you go back to Abilene. Mm-hmm. How much longer were you in Abilene?
Until I moved to Denton, Texas in 1997, I think.
How old would you have been in 97?
97, I would have been, what is that? 18, 17, 18. Oops. Okay. We're talking 17. We're talking trouble years,
Oh, but yeah, you were already on a great start, lighting your parents' house on fire at 3 years old.
That was not
mighty, Jake.
That was
Hellion.
That was a kidnapper's house, my friend.
Well, that is true. That is true. You did have a pass there. Yep. You did have a pass. So, was your first love in music always the banjo, or did you have flings with other instruments beforehand? You're shaking your head. No. What in Abilene, I assume. What did you get into?
Oh, let's see. Well, I started off playing piano because my grandmother. We lived with my grandparents a lot. My grandmother played piano. She played guitar, and so that's really where I started playing music on the piano. We always had a piano in the house. I don't have one in the house now, and it really sucks because I want one. I love that feeling of the keys beneath my fingers. Mm-hmm. Then I played drums. My grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher, and so we were at church all the time. I played drums for a while in the church band. Keep a nice. I mean, it's gospel music, I'm not going to do anything fancy. All he wanted me to do is keep time. So, I was doing that. And then when I was in 7th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, my mom got me a guitar for Christmas. I was in 7th grade. It was a Harmony Stratocaster knockoff,
Wow.
cream,
Wow.
with the white pick guard on it.
Wow.
But I didn't really start playing that with any sort of dedication until probably 10th grade, I think.
That's about the path I took with the guitar.
Yeah.
I got my first at 8 years old and messed with it for like a year, not even, and just neglected it until, by the grace of God, I met my guitar teacher, Steve Lewis, in high school, and he steered me back into the world of guitar and the world of music. So you're in Abilene, Texas. You're growing up, moving into your teenage years and all. What kinds of music were you listening to at that time?
Moving into my teenage years? Oh, man.
Yeah. Starting to really form your music tastes.
Well, let's see. Moving into teenage. Okay. So, the Beastie Boys, massive staple in my life growing up. That was the first album that I ever got. Cassette that I ever got was the Beastie Boys. That was like 5th grade, I think. Yeah, I got that. I got the Fat Boys, and I got Billy Idol. Those were the first 3
Holy cow.
I ever purchased on my own. But then moving into the teenage years, oh my God, some of it's
major MTV right there.
That's exactly what that was. That was MTV. Some of the teenage year stuff is embarrassing, frankly.
Say it. You're not going to be judged. Say it.
Still watching MTV at that point a bit. So MC listening to that, Vanilla Ice, Criss Cross. I went to school with my clothes on backwards one time.
Perfect.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, so it was that kind of stuff. And then my buddy Josh, who I met in 6th grade, would pepper me with random things that were outside of that, and I'm thankful for him. It's because of him that I really got into music. NWA, I got busted with an NWA cassette one time. She was not happy about that.
Me.
But I had made her give it back to me because I was like, look, it's Josh's. I'll give it back, but you can't just take the tape. Primus. Yeah, a lot of Beatles. My mom was a big Beatles fan, so we listened to a lot of Beatles, and I still, even then I listened to a lot of Beatles and Motown. Like the 2 main things my mom liked to listen to growing up. So those were definitely ever present there.
So you were pretty blessed to have a pretty eclectic music taste at a young age. So you leave Abilene, this time on your own vices, at the age of 17, and you mentioned Denton, Texas, right outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
What spurred you to move to Denton, Texas, and how did your music influences grow in that?
The home of happiness.
The Reverend Horton Heat.
Oh, yeah.
That's what spurred me to move to Denton, Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Reverend Horton Heat inspired you to move to Denton. Wow.
Yep, that's it. I've been listening to him for a while. By the time I was 17, my musical taste had completely evolved from, 8th, 9th grade, like 100%.
Yeah.
Gone through some changes. And I had just recently at that time been introduced to the Reverend Horton Heat. Maybe a year before. No context. I always imagined people like swing dancing at a Reverend Horton Heat concert, And I went to Denton. I had some friends that were going to UNT, University of North Texas, and I went up there to go visit some friends. Pardon me, and I saw that that the Reverend Horton Heat was playing like a show right down the road from where they were on campus, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm going to this." So I got all dressed up and went to the Reverend Horton Heat show, and it was just a giant mosh pit, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. And if I can come see this here, like no shows came to Abilene, like ever.
Wow.
There was a local music scene, which was good. We had a lot of really, really fucking awesome bands in the local Abilene scene. But no big bands came through Abilene, Texas. Back in the 80s, like 85 or 86, Metallica came through. And,
Oh, wow.
and Abilene used to be, I don't know if it still is, but when I was growing up there, it had more churches per capita than any other city in the United States.
Wow.
There was a church on almost every fucking corner. Everywhere you went, there's a church.
Well, it's Texas.
And yeah. And Metallica came and played, and these people had a fit over Metallica, And so they got the city to ban any large non-country acts could not come and play like the arena there
Oh,
in
my God.
Man.
God dang metal music, the rock music's destroying our youth.
I believe that town is what Footloose was written about.
No, that is Anson, which is the town that is about 20 miles outside of Abilene. So
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
yeah, ain't no dancing in Anson, man. Yep. Anson's
So, from Denton, Texas,
Mhm.
where then does the Jake Allen traveling show land next?
Right back in Abilene.
Really?
like a year
You
and a
moved
half.
back to Abilene.
Year and a half out. Yeah, I went back to Abilene and started playing music with my friends again. It wasn't happening when I was in Denton. I'd taken myself. I had a couple of friends there, but I'd taken myself out of my my musical friend group and stuff, and
Yeah.
so I had to come back and join new bands.
So, how long did your third stint in Abilene last?
Third stint in Abilene lasted, let's see, came back in '98 until about 2000. So another 2 years. Yeah.
So, you leave Abilene there in 2000. Where do you go next?
Austin, baby.
Austin, Texas.
Hell
Not a bad little choice.
No.
So tell us about what you were doing musically in Austin, if you had joined any bands down there, and
I
go
did
from there.
end up joining a band down there. Lived in Austin. I was homeless for a little while,
Oh, wow.
but I had my truck, and it had a camper on it, and it had my
There you
stuff back. And I had 2 jobs too, so I was making bank. Like I had money coming in, and one of the places I worked had a shower, so I could shower there.
Oh, gosh.
So as far as being homeless goes, I had it really, really good. And but I ended up moving in with a buddy, Will Arnott. He was from Abilene. We'd known each other, our bands had played together and stuff. And he'd moved down there and was going to school down at UT. And I crashed on his couch for a while, and he was like, "Hey, you want to just become a roommate?" And so I ended up living with him and joining the band that he was in. What was it called? Oh man, I'm gonna blank on this. It was called the band was called Voices in the Dark.
There you go.
It was a jam band. We had a drummer and a percussionist, and Will was on guitar. We had another guitarist, and I played bass. And they convinced me that I needed to be the singer, which was kind of crazy because I've never done that before, and I didn't write, So it's like, well, I don't write songs, I just make up bass parts for songs, So Will wrote the songs, and then I would sing them. Yeah, that was the beginning of that.
How long were you in Austin for?
About a year.
Wow. Really short time.
Really short time.
So you
That's where I went after that.
you go to Austin for a year. if you say there's another stint in Abilene, I'm gonna jump through this screen.
So there's another stint in Abilene.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You are a glutton for punishment.
No. You got to understand this. Abilene is a vortex. Okay, it's a vortex, and if you ask anybody else that is from Abilene if Abilene is a vortex, they'll tell you absolutely 100%. Anybody that gets away and stays away is lucky.
Yeah. There's a lot of places like that.
I've written a note about this. I'll go ahead and say it now before it's gone.
Go for it.
It's the black hole of Texas, right?
Yeah.
It sucks you right back to it.
Abilene, Drabeline, the shittiest place I've ever been, but I kept going back. But
Abilene, my Abilene. Anyway, so
very
go back to Abilene for a fourth time because you don't learn. No, never mind. That's not true. So
I went back because it was where I needed to be for the next stage to happen.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Abilene's just like it's like I'm trying to think of a good it's like the state of Iowa. If the state of Iowa were one city, that's what it would be. so anyone who's listening in Iowa, I apologize. So you go to Abilene for the
turn off the tractor beam so you can get away.
Yes, it happened.
So you go back to Abilene for the fourth time.
Yep.
How long then were you there then?
I think around 6 or 8 months.
Okay. So after did you play in any bands or anything in Athens?
Yeah, I was still playing with
I'm sorry for saying Athens. I had Athens on my mind. I meant to say Abilene.
No, that's okay.
Even though there is an Athens, Texas.
I was playing music at the time with my buddy Cliff. He was one of the guys that I played in bands with throughout like the end of high school, and when I moved back to Abilene the first time, he's kind of like my writing. We always ended up paired up playing together. He actually taught me how to play bass, and got me into all sorts of good music. He turned me on to The Cure, Susie and the Banshees. Like, Cliff was one of those people that helped shift my life away from a lot of things. Very important person in my life. I was living with him, playing music with him, and then we were saving up money and planning a trip. This was in 2000. We were planning on going on his birthday. We were going to go to New York City, and then we were going to fly out from New York City and go do the whole quintessential European backpacking thing, right? Like, we're going backpacking in Europe. So we were saving up our money to do that. But I'd made a friend who had gone off and was working for the UN, and I was telling her that we were, going to be coming to Europe. I'd like to see her. And told her that we were going to be going backpacking, and she was like, "Oh man, there's so many of the trails closed because they're having breakouts of what was it, hoof and mouth?
SARS?
That's right. No, but they were having some like viral breakouts, and they were closing down a lot of the backpacking trails. And so me and Cliff like looked at each other, like, well, what? I mean, if we can't do that, what's the point of going? That's our whole thing. And we're like, we've got to figure out something else to do. And the very next day, 2 of our friends rolled up in front of the house in their 1976 Volkswagen bus with a pop-up camper.
Oh, boy.
And they say, hey, we're going back down to Mexico in a month. Do y'all want to come with us? We're like, yes, we do. Let's go. So,
yeah. So that kickstarted my memory. So you lived in Mexico then for a stint.
Yes.
Where in Mexico were you?
Palenque, Chiapas, down in the Lacandon jungle near Guatemala, the Mayan ruins of Palenque, the majestic ruins of Palenque.
That sounds dangerous. Was it?
I mean, yeah, sure, it was dangerous. There were some very interesting moments there. To be
Tell
sure.
us about some of them.
Oh man, let's see. Well, we left for Mexico on my birthday, 2001. We went and had Thai food and drove out there, and we drove down the whole way. It was like two and a half weeks. We took our time. We stopped along like rivers and stuff, and camped on the beach. Okay, let's see. First few days into Mexico, I almost died.
Oh gosh!
On the beach outside of Tampico, in the middle of nowhere.
Oh no!
We had stopped in Tampico proper, the big city on the Gulf Coast. We stopped there at a fish market earlier in the day. We got some tomatoes and we got some shrimp, and we drove another 40, 50 miles to this beach where my buddy knew the guy who would let us camp on the beach for like $5. And so we went out there to this private beach and we made this shrimp tomato stew. And I'm from West Texas. I'm not a seafood guy. We don't, we have catfish. That's really it. And, I eat this shrimp and tomato stew, and maybe it was the mercury or something. I don't know, some element in these shrimp, but my throat closed up, and it was anaphylactic shock, anaphylaxia. I didn't know that I was allergic to shrimp.
Shellfish.
Well, no, that's why I think it's just the shrimp. Something was in the shrimp, I think. I don't know what it was, because I can eat crab, and I don't have any issues with crab at all.
Interesting.
So, but
you haven't tried shrimp since then.
No.
Okay.
No, it was horrifying, man. Like, we're on the beach in the middle of nowhere near a hospital. And my throat is just closing up, and I know that I'm going to die. But for a year, for the whole time that I had moved back to Abilene, I had been practicing this breathing exercise for months and months and months, dude, where I would do this thing, and I would prolong my inhalations as long as I could. I'd take a breath, and I'll just see how long I can stretch out that inhalation, right? And then see how long I can stretch out that exhalation as well. And this was a thing that I did all the time. I'd been doing this nonstop. So I'm sitting here on this beach, and I'm fucking dying because I can't breathe. And I go, do your fucking meditation. And so I start doing these prolonged breaths, and my throat had not closed up so much. There was just the smallest hole that if I'd been panicking, I would have died. But since I got my mind calm, there was just this tiny little bit where air could come in, and I could breathe it in so slowly because I've been practicing for so long. I just sat there doing that for I don't know how fucking long, and then eventually it came out. My friends were like standing around me freaking out, I say breathing exercises saved my fucking life.
Someone in the comments said, yeah, the shrimp was stuffed with cocaine.
No.
I don't think so. Cocaine.
So,
actually,
how long?
I want to give you a warning. In grocery stores, a lot of crab meat, like crab sticks and crab meat, is actually white fish that's got orange coloring put on it. So,
stay away.
If you cracked open an actual crab and eaten a claw or something like that, and nothing has happened, probably not allergic to crab. But again, if you've eaten just crab meat that's been supposedly taken out of a crab, but actually it's not crab meat, it's fish. Just saying.
No, I've definitely had some crab claws. I enjoy them very much. I'm so glad I'm not allergic to them. delectable. They're delightful. Isn't that what you said about the soup that Renee made?
Divine.
Yeah, divine.
They're
We were talking
divine.
off camera about the keto diet that Renee is starting, and she posted a picture of this soup that she made. There was like beef and broccoli and stuff like that, mushrooms and all. And I couldn't stop drooling over it. It was delicious. But that is another thing for another stream. Let's go forward. So, Jake, how long did you live in Mexico?
Until it was only like 5.5 months. 5
Oh,
months.
wow.
But yeah, I had a tourist visa, so it's only a 6-month visa.
Oh, okay.
You can only be there for so long.
Okay. So
I decided to leave when my the TP that I was staying in. I was in Palenque for most of it, and then all my friends that were down there with me, they left and went back to Texas. So they were back there, and I was down there with only this new guy that I met, who was also from Texas. His name was Shorty, and it was an ironic sort of name. He was a very short dude. He and I ended up hitchhiking to Tulum over in Quintana Roo, over on the Caribbean.
oh.
Yeah, which stories and stories and stories. One thing I do want to, well, no.
Okay. I gotta say just one thing. When you were mentioning the teepee, I thought you were gonna say, "Well, yeah, the only reason I left is because I had a teepee and then I set it on fire." So,
No,
I thought the exact same thing.
no. So
I was the TV caught fire.
I was staying in this place called Papaya Playa down on the Caribbean coast, and I was getting room and board in exchange for doing maintenance work, housekeeping stuff around the place. Me and my buddy were, and my board was a teepee that I got to sleep in. Yeah, and this one night, I was only there for 2 weeks. I got one of the jobs I had to do was we had a dance floor on the beach, and the Jefe had me out there with a broom sweeping the sand off the dance floor. But then like the wind would come and just blow sand on the dance floor, so I would just sweep the dance floor some more.
it's an endless job.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Whatever you want.
Me.
Yeah, I'll sweep the dance floor. It's fine. But one night we're sitting at the bar, drinking, and the storm starts rolling in. I mean, like it's really coming in, and the wind starts picking up. And we had a generator, but like all the rest of the power goes out. The wind's picking up, and we're all sitting around like, oh shit, wow, there's an actual hurricane, coming. And we see this one teepee go up into the sky and out into the ocean. And it was my teepee. And
you saw that teepee go in the air, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Back to Abilene.
My stuff was still there. All my stuff was under the bed. Okay. So I still had my stuff. But I was like, I think it's a sign. I think I need to go. Like, this is mild. I don't want to be here if an actual fucking tornado or a hurricane hits. Time to get out.
So, on that bombshell, where did you wind up going from Mexico? Where did you move to next?
Waleska, Georgia.
Waleska. And that's not too far away from Canton and Cartersville and whatever lies in between. What made you decide on Waleska, Georgia?
My mom and my grandmother lived there, and my grandmother paid for the ticket for me to come back to the States, and was like, "You just got to come here." And I was like, "Okay, get me out of here." Yes, let's go to Georgia, middle of nowhere, Georgia. Right.
How long did you stay?
My grandmother.
So while you lived in Waleska, I know you're within a stone's throw of Atlanta. What bands were you participating in? What projects did you have a hand in, et cetera, et cetera?
It took me a while before I met anybody. But I started working at Johnny's Pizza, not Johnny's Pizza, Papa John's Pizza.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Cardboard with pasta sauce.
it's so gross. I hate it to this day. But I started working there, and there was this guy named Ryan Chestnut that worked there with me, and he played guitar. And he said, "Man, you play music and stuff, right?" And we would talk about music all the time. And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, we're looking for a lead singer for our band. Do you want to come audition?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, why not? I'll come audition." And I went over there, and I don't remember what I sang for them, but they were like, "Yeah, we want you to be our singer." And so I joined this band called Inelement as their singer. It was kind of a mix between like 311 and Incubus. Yeah, it was really, which neither band was anything that I'd never listened to either one of those bands. But they were like, "We really want you to sing for us." And I really wanted to have friends, and I really wanted to play music. And so I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And I played with them for probably like 7 months, 8 months.
Okay.
And then my buddy Cliff came up and wrote a couple of songs with us too.
Okay.
I did write some songs when I was with them. Okay, I just remembered a verse to one of the songs that I wrote with them. Like, so it's like a cross between like 311 and like and Incubus. So it's got that rap rock thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Okay,
Go for it.
I only remember one verse.
All right.
Okay. "You know I like to smoke herb, but they say it's something I can't do. They choose for me to not be free, to make decisions that concern me and only me. Constantly they push around, it brings me down. Their intolerance springs not only from their greed, but also from their need to be in power, devouring the nation. We're facing a crisis the likes of which we've never seen. Our rights have been eroded. Our minds are not corroding and our spirits are chained. Yet we've got to maintain our ability to question authority and make it a priority to not let our rights go right out the window, yo. It's like Bobby said, you got to get up, stand up for your rights, and fight to the death with your last breath, whatever it takes to get the point across. This war will not be lost."
All hail Jake. All hail Jake.
Excellent.
So Jake,
Amazing.
how long did you live in Waleska?
It was about a year before I moved back to Abilene.
You have got to be shitting me.
Fucking vortex, man! I'm telling you.
And
It's
you lived
a
in a teepee there.
it's a black
Yes, he is
hole.
TP blew back to Abilene.
No,
His TP blew back to Abilene. Anyway.
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the guys that I was in a band with. I enjoyed being the lead singer and stuff, but I missed my friends. You know, I didn't know that when I left Mexico in June of 2001 that that was going to be the last time I drank a Shinerbach. You know,
What is a Shinerbach?
You don't know Shinerbach?
No,
Beer.
I don't drink.
Oh, okay. It's a beer. It's a Texas beer.
Okay.
Like, it's the quintessential Texas beer, aside from maybe like Lone Star. But Lone Star,
Yeah, I don't drink. I'm out here smoking trees. It's
I
all
don't-
good.
I'm
It
not.
doesn't sound very Texas. Shinerbach.
Well, there's a
Very German. Very
It
German.
is. Well, there's a big German community. That's
Oh.
where the whole kolache thing comes from.
Oh, okay.
Czech and German community. Lukenbach, Texas. You know Lukenbach, Texas,
Yep.
right? Okay,
I've heard of it.
that's where Willie Nelson.
I didn't know until like 2 years ago that Lukenbach, Texas is actually a real place. I just thought it was a place he wrote about.
It's
It's like the city of New Orleans. When I was a kid, I didn't know that the city of New Orleans was an actual train.
Oh man.
I actually have a friend that played the city of New Orleans while writing the city of New Orleans. That's when you know you've made it as a musician.
That's a
When
real
you're
meta
doing
right
that.
there.
All right, so Jake, you go back again, You're a masochist for Abilene. I swear to God.
I was a masochist for Abilene.
Oof.
That was
How long did you stay on? What's this now? Your 5th stint there?
Yeah, it gets back. Let's see, 2003, like around 2003. Yeah, 5th stint in Abilene. There for about 2 more years.
Okay, so you leave Abilene that time. Where does your TP land the next time?
Right back here again.
Well, in Waleska or where you are now?
In Waleska. Yep.
Okay.
Back to Waleska. Yeah. Got a place with some friends, and met the people that became like the bands that I played in here. You know, I was
Okay.
here. Yeah, that's where I started meeting my other friends, my new friend group. So there was the Abilene friend group, and
Yeah.
now there's the Waleska friend group.
You mention Matt Grambling a lot in your streams, and you play a lot of his songs. Did you meet him in the time you were living in Waleska?
That's this time when I moved back. That's when I moved.
Okay.
Yeah, I
How
started
did
working.
you two's paths cross? Because I know you two are very close musically.
Yeah, I started working in a restaurant as a busboy, and there was another guy that was a busboy there. His name was Jess Hopkins, Lightning Jess Hopkins.
Lightning Hopkins. There you go.
Yep, and he played guitar, and we hit it off really good, and we started talking. And I met up with his other friend Matt Green, and they introduced me to Matt Grambling, and it was a big incestuous musical scene that I got into. Yeah, everybody played in everything. We were all
okay.
each other's stuff, you know.
I was about to say, you went from North Georgia to West Virginia, just like that. So you come back to Waleska. How long were you there for this time?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. That was 2004, 2005, until Bethy and I moved to West Virginia.
Did you meet Bethy in Waleska?
No, Bethy's an Atlanta girl.
Oh, I see. How did you two's paths cross?
We met playing in a band together.
Really? What was the name of the band?
The Constellations.
The Constellations. Wow.
Look, they're good. They're good. It was a fun band. It was like an Atlanta party band.
Wow.
We had mine and Bethy's mutual friend was in the band, Devin Donnelly. We were in bands together up here. He started working at the same pizza place that I did.
Oh, wow.
Becoming mine and Jess's roommate, and then joining the band. That was the Low Hands, which is one of the favorite bands that I was ever in. That was me, Devin Donnelly, Lightning Hopkins, Matt Green, and Matt Grambling.
Wow.
My favorite band. We had guitar, we had bass, we had banjo, electrified banjo, drums.
Wow.
We all sang and did like
So y'all were the Avid brothers before they were cool.
No, man. This was dirty fucking garage.
Oh, okay.
It was like 60s garage meets like kind of. The only reason it was really Southern rock was because of the banjo, I would say. But the banjo was electrified with like distortion and like reverb on it, just nasty sounding.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the Low Hands. I was playing in that band. And then Devin was also in a band down in Atlanta at the same time called the Constellations, and they were down recording an album in CeeLo's studio.
Wow.
Because one of the guys in the band was Ben H. Allen. He was the producer of that Gnarls Barkley album with Crazy on it.
Wow.
He was in the Constellations. Him and Devin and Elijah were the principal songwriters for the band. When the studio was shared, it was Ben and CeeLo's studio together. So
wow.
they were recording that, just producing that, and they were getting ready to release the album. And So they put together a live band for the album because it was just the three of them. They put together a live band for the album, and I got picked to play percussion in the Constellations, playing tambourine and playing shakers and cowbell. You know the works. It was a lot of fun. Got to do backup singing. Bethy and I started in the band on the same day. She got brought in to be in the clap squad. Yeah, it was like I think there was 3 or 4 of them, and 4 ladies in nice skimpy dresses on stage dancing, clapping and singing and stuff. So we started the band the same day. That's how we met.
Wow. There's probably people in the comments, Atlanta and Athens people, in the comments saying, "I saw them live."
They may have, it's distinctly possible. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing in that band. But we left the band and moved to
West Virginia.
Yeah,
I was about to perfect segue into where I was going. So
we took Devin with us.
Oh wow! So the look on your face says it all.
Well, no, he was one of the principal songwriters in that band, and his boyfriend ended up moving up to West Virginia with us. But it all works out. It all has a happy story.
So I was just about to pivot toward when you and Bethy moved to West Virginia and the beautiful city of Martinsburg. What drove you to move to the panhandle of West Virginia?
Paranoia.
Paranoia.
Yeah.
Do tell.
I'll be real honest. Paranoia. Both Bethy and I had gotten into conspiracy theories. We were watching Alex Jones.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How you've changed in such a short time.
Yeah, well, that's what we do.
Of course, that was back when Alex Jones was still kind of fun. That's when he hadn't drank the Kool-Aid yet.
Well, no, it was getting there, man. It was
already there then?
This was right when the Obama election was going on. So
okay.
The financial crisis, like this is Alex Jones coming up right here,
Oh, okay.
It is embarrassing. I see Bethy said that's embarrassing. It is embarrassing, but fuck it, We got into a conspiracy rabbit.
Damn nanotechnology. They're putting it in us.
Oh man, no! I remember
Black helicopters are coming. They're around us.
That was it. That was when that whole thing about the coffins on out on the interstate was coming up. Oh yeah, it was a thing for a while.
Oh, Jesus.
So we got out. Our buddy Devin got pretty paranoid too. So him and his boyfriend with us. We very fucking short notice up and split and moved to West Virginia like super super short notice.
Live.
Yeah, it was. My parents had moved there. My dad worked for ATF. My stepdad had worked for the ATF and had transferred up there, and they were like, "Y'all can move in with us." My mom told us, we've got great transit around here. The bus lines are really good. Martinsburg, West Virginia, man. No. We moved, and we didn't know anyone but each other, which was fine for about the first year or so, but yeah, it's rough, man. Moving to a place where you don't know anyone.
Holy crapola.
We could have gone back. That would have been an easy thing to do, but
Martinsburg, the Abilene of the East.
Anyway. No, I think it's easy to get out of Martinsburg. No offense, Jess Cantley.
That's where he is. I thought he was in like Morgantown
or
something like that.
No, he lives in Martinsburg. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a reason to go back there and visit. So
there you go. A reason that's not conspiracy theory based. Thank God.
We got out of that. Fortunately, right. We started like Bethy. Really, I credit her. We got pregnant, and she started thinking that Alex Jones is really just a fearmonger, and we can't live like this. We've got a baby coming. We can't live in this space where we're like constantly paranoid. We have to figure this shit out.
Bethy knows best.
Bethy knows best. Yeah.
So
that was right at the same time that Occupy started happening too. And
okay.
we got so that was 2011. So there was a good 2 years there where we were deep into a conspiracy rabbit hole. But then we got out of that and we joined up with Occupy, and
there you go.
And we started our own Occupy Martinsburg, and that's when we met the other people there and started making friends.
Holy cow.
Yeah. 'Cause West Virginia is a hard nut to crack, man. If you're not from there, you're an outsider, bro. And if you don't win, sorry about it.
So, from Martinsburg, you leave and go back to Georgia, not to Waleska, but to...
we go back to Waleska.
Oh, you did go back to Waleska?
We sure did. My parents had a lake house up here in Waleska that was just sitting. And so we moved, packed up the family, Winona and Eloise, and moved back down here.
Wow. So, are you in Waleska currently?
No, we were in that house for a few years, and then when we moved back here, we went for a hike in the woods one day up on Red Top Mountain, and we met this guy and his two twin daughters that were out there. The girls were a little younger than Winona, but older than Eloise. We hit it off with him and made friends with him and his wife, and their daughters were our daughters, like really good friends down here. And we would go over to their house all the time and hang out, do barbecues over there, just constantly hanging out with them. They'd come over to our place. And this was about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I was sitting on the porch with them one day, and they're like, "Hey, man, we're moving to Silver City, Iowa." I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, Tim's got a job. We're moving, They're like, "But hey, do you know anybody that wants to rent this place?" And like, if I think of anybody, and they're like, "Okay, well, if you do, just let them know the rent. It's going up. It's going up to $900 a month." And I was just like, "What the fuck?" This is the place that we live in now. It's amazing, like log cabin with a loft and 3 bedrooms, a full basement, a garage. It's on 2.5 acres, mostly wooded and poison ivy, but but it's awesome, and I love this place. And we were like, we got to. I told Bethy about it that night. She was like, "We're getting that house. We've got to make it happen." And so we moved into this beautiful, beautiful place for very cheap. It's unheard of. This house should be like $1,400 a month. And
yeah, I've heard you talk about it in the past. I was just thinking, if that was in Asheville, it would be $2.5 million.
Yeah. Whoa, really? Jesus.
Yeah, Asheville is skyrocketing in price. Of course, I'm 3 hours. I'm in Ashe County, but Asheville is not in Ashe County. It's 3 hours northeast. But I've heard horror stories from my friends down there who are looking to move. So I know that you are in Georgia now.
Yeah.
But I know that you are starting to set the wheels in motion elsewhere. Tell us a little bit about that.
We'll see where we're going to go. It's looking like either Mobile, Alabama, or Harrisonburg, Virginia are kind of on the map now.
Okay.
Yep. Both have their pros, both have their cons. Doing some recon. We're actually going to Mobile tomorrow when I get off at 4:30.
Wow. So that's where you're going.
Yeah. Yep. See Bethy's parents and hang out.
Oh, okay.
Maybe look at some rental properties while we're there. See what that looks like.
I know kind of what your draw is to Harrisonburg, because I know a lot of great SDF musicians are there. Our dear Corey Lindgreen and Mr. Crab Action himself, Ivan Basil, is there. And Fred Bowman, our beloved Mr. Tagalotsky, Fred Bowman, is somewhere in the vicinity of Harrisonburg. I hope you, wherever you land on, man, I hope you find your feet, and I hope you have, hope you prosper, man.
I'm confident. I feel good about it. Whichever choice we make, it's going to be the right choice. You know.
I kind of hope you choose Harrisonburg though, because then you'll be within a half a day of me. I need more of my KMH and SDF family near me. I'm on like an island, far away from everybody. Everyone's in Atlanta and Athens. Everyone's up north in like New York and Pennsylvania and Maryland.
Only one person can change that, Mr. Phipps. Only
that is
one
true.
Person.
True. True, and I am
got this
very slowly but steadily setting the wheels in motion.
I went down to Mexico with $500, my dude. That's it. I was down there for almost 6 months. You know,
you went down to Mexico with $500, and you wound up with a blown away TP and another trip to Africa. Cautionary tale. So. Renee, if you are still here and we've not driven you away, please come back and we will have the honorable judge give his ruling over everything.
Renee, I'm here. I've been here the whole show in this hot wig that's itchy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's
I will note about that. As a matter of fact,
yeah.
This set of notes is probably the first time I've given most of the notes to the guest, and I apologize for that, but too many funny things were said. My first note, Renee and Phipps, late again. Actually, an hour late.
Where
was that divine theme song created by the lovely Diane Marie Cole? Prepare before your show. Jonathan, thank you so much for forgetting that I am part of the show. I appreciate that. Mr. Allen, an interesting intro into your performance piece, including a lengthy drink of water while we wait. Of course, when you begin playing the banjo, all of that is quickly forgotten. Jake, your song Limbo. If George Harrison from the Beatles had chose the banjo instead of the sitar in the late 60s, I do believe that it would have sounded very much like this. Jonathan, amazingly, you and I gave a little after-dinner belch at the same time. The difference was I stifled mine.
Oh,
no. Jonathan's glasses reflecting.
I
ever thought of doing the show blind? You know, by sound.
God. I'm just gonna hide my
your
face.
days as a young arsonist. I'm glad to know that you got on the right path. As a judge, I always appreciate stories where people go the right path, go the right way. Jonathan, with a judge sitting right next to you, you actually said, "We're not going to judge you." Seriously, Jake, there's a Beatles fan in every family, I believe. I firmly believe that. In your case, it was your mom. Also, Austin, baby. If no one else got it, I did. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Jake, wow, you forgot the name of your first band. By the way, a drummer is a percussionist. I just wanted to state that. My guess is you were thinking, I shouldn't say tambourinist. It's called a tambourine player. Jonathan, at 30 minutes, you actually left the show while the guest was telling an interesting story. You weren't gone long, but I'm sure everybody noticed it. If they ever make a Jake Allen movie, the slogan on the poster will be, "You will believe a teepee can fly." This one's amazing. We need a lead singer for our band. You want to audition? When do we ever hear that? Never.
Oh.
China Bach. That's all I wrote there. Careful, Jake, using the incestuous as an adjective, especially in the deep south.
Him moving to West Virginia just cemented it that much more.
Trying to make fans in West Virginia, I see, Mr. Phipps. Very good.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
At 53 minutes, I just realized that I was accepting Jake's coonskin cap as his actual hair. Short bangs and a ponytail. Quite unnerving.
There you go.
Jake, you actually said, "We got pregnant." I'm sure they probably raised an eyebrow at that statement. At 58 minutes, Jonathan Phipps continues his geographic queries. I knew this was going to...
For the birds.
I knew
God.
this was going to be a long show when Jake moved back to Abilene for the third time.
For the third time. Oh my
I'm glad
God. I'm
you
going to need
finally got
therapy
out of the
after
black hole of
this.
Texas, man. And those are my notes.
God bless America. This, oh my God. Renee, come back and bring some shade of sanity back to this. If she is still here, we probably
There she
drove
is.
her
Here
away.
she comes.
There she is.
Hello.
Oh
Oh,
God.
Judge Karen,
Jake
thank
and I
you.
are both crying.
I have not had a belly laugh like that in so long.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That was a
Abilene,
great
very funny.
episode, guys.
Denton,
Oh my
funny.
God. This is what happens every time someone gets Jake Allen in on a stream. It goes off the rails, but it goes off the rails in a good way.
Oh,
And
good.
that is precisely what happened here. I am crying, laughing. I needed this, man. I
Yeah,
needed this.
me too.
So before I close this out, I want to brag on a few folks. I know there's been, quite a few of us going through a lot this week, and I just want to shout out those folks that for staying strong and for staying true and for staying real. My own co-host Renee Jaworski being one of those people. Ray, you have held up beautifully in the face of all that is going on. It continues to go on this week. I'm proud of you for showing up. I'm proud of you for just holding out when a lot of others wouldn't. I'm awfully proud of you for that, Ray. Monica
Thank
Peoples, who I think may or may not be here, but Monica, if she watches this on the replay, I am proud of you as well for holding up and bouncing back in the face of a broken heart and love gone sour. And to Bathsheba Yehuda, she is going through a pretty rough patch right now post-surgery, though she too is holding up and still kicking ass out there in Colorado. And I guess a little something could be said for me as well, going through my own stuff and just having the drive to come out here and do this with y'all and have one of the most fun nights I've had in a long, long time. It's just good. It's good for the soul. It was good to laugh. It was good to be with Jake and with the judge and with Renee. It's just good to be doing this, man. This is healing. And I
More power
love
to
y'all.
you, Renee. Monica, things happen for a reason. This is coming
Yes.
from a judge. Okay? Seen a lot of divorces. You didn't even get that far, so good. And Jonathan, you said earlier this week you are an empath. You take everybody else's pain.
Yes.
Stop it.
I mean,
You can give
Man,
support to other
I've
people.
tried
Please
for
do.
a quarter of a century
But Josh, don't let
now
it hurt
and
you.
haven't got it yet.
because then they're going to feel guilty that they passed their pain on to you. So
Well,
again,
they
you
didn't
need to
pass their
learn
pain on
to
me.
be strong
I
in
just-
yourself and just give support.
That's true. Well, y'all, thank you, one and all, for
And Bathsheba,
yes.
we're hoping for a speedy recovery.
Amen.
Yes,
Amen,
for it.
Judge.
definitely.
So,
Yes,
y'all,
indeed.
thank you for coming out this evening and commenting and showing your love. Thank you, Jake. Thanks a million, brother, for coming on this show and making
y'all.
it and making it something all three of us have desperately needed this week.
Yes, thank you,
Love
Jake.
you so much, Jake.
I haven't broken
Ray.
character and laughed that hard in a long time.
Yep. Ray, thank you for just being strong and showing up this week and helping me even when you were in your lowest point. Thank you for doing that, Judge. Thank you for your fair and honest judgments and sitting in for Renee tonight, because I know she's not feeling particularly the best.
Yep.
And
Thank
again,
you.
and again, thank you to everyone in that comment section for showing up, showing love, and sharing this fucking beautiful night with us. This was a fun ass night, y'all. And I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to be a part of it.
Yes.
Did you say it was an
Till
incestuous
next
night?
week, we'll see you. And don't forget next week,
Divine.
if you think
It's
having
divine.
Jake, oh God, if you think having Jake Allen in here was fun, wait until you see who we have next week on the show when the hurricane himself, Troy Moore,
Oh my
shows up and
That's
is
gonna be
in the hot
crazy.
seat. Oh Lord,
All right.
Get a new
we've got
pen
a
ready.
great slot of shows lined up for y'all. Take care. Until next week, we'll see y'all. Love y'all so